Hey Jets fans, what's up? It's your friend Dom C with GreenBean Jetsfan here for another installment of the video series that we're calling Project Prospect. Project Prospect is just a little deep dive into some of these draft eligible players that are definitely going to hear their name called in April and would be really good sneaky fits for our New York Jets. Today we're going to touch on a position that definitely needs to be touched, and that's the center position. Going back to last year, we had the very workmanlike, middle of the road player in Connor McGovern. Again, never really too high, didn't do anything excellent, never really too low, didn't do anything awful, just grinded in and out. He's actually a guy that I wouldn't mind coming back for another year. The problem with Connor McGovern, he's 30 years old and probably looking for one more big payday and will be priced out of our range. His backup is also an unrestricted free agent, and that's Dan Feeney. And probably the most redeeming quality that Dan Feeney has is his camera presence and that wonderful mullet that he carries. Outside of that, his play, so ready to move on from him also. So that leaves us with nobody at center. What are we going to do? Well, we dipped and dabbled a little bit in some of the free agent centers. I know that we were in on the guy Brendel from San Francisco, but he decided to take less money to stay at home in San Francisco. Can't blame him. Again, he would have been another 30-year-old center, probably looking a different avenue. I haven't heard much more of who we've been in on, so the draft might be the way to go. And the good thing is that this draft has what I feel probably 5 or 6 guys that are ready to come in and help a team right off the bat. Anywhere from the end of the first round to the 5th round, you're going to get just about a plug and play guy. One of the guys we're going to talk about, I think, is creeping up my board as one of my sneaky little favorite draft darlings in this whole entire class, and that's Luke Wypler. Luke Wypler is a 21-year-old redshirt sophomore from Ohio State. Wypler stands 6'2 and a half. He's 303 pounds. He played 27 games while at Ohio State, starting 26 of them. Over that time, 1,500 snaps on the field. Only allowed 13 quarterback hurries. He only allowed 1 quarterback hit and 0 sacks. Let me repeat that for you. 1,500 snaps on the field total. 0 sacks allowed. What more can you ask? He tested out in the 60 to 65 percentile in all of the base test measurements at his pro day. A 5.1 40-yard dash with a 1.8 split, 10-yard split, that is. He tested out 7.64 in the 3-cone drill. He had a 4.53 shuttle time. He had a vertical jump of 30 and a half inches and a broad jump of 9 feet even. He also hit 30 reps of 225 on the bench press. Again, very, very adequate, above average, not the highest scores out of all the centers that are in the NFL draft that tested either at the combine or the pro days, but definitely not the lowest. Very workmanlike, and that's what you get from Luke Wypler. That's what I catch from him. I think he's going to be a guy who definitely doesn't have the highest ceiling out of all these center prospects, but he definitely has the highest floor. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? Guys with those high floors that develop over time, those are the guys that are coming in they're 9, 10, 11, 12-year starters. Think Nick Mangold. And it's funny that we say Nick Mangold, right? Another Ohio State alum, another center that the Jets drafted, plugged and played and stayed there. And you never even thought of Nick Mangold when he was on the field. Just always producing workmanlike. And guess who Luke Wypler's idol is? How about it? Nick Mangold. Luke Wypler's a New Jersey kid from Oradell, New Jersey, up in Bergen County, and grew up a Jets fan. What else can you not like about this kid? Well, let's talk about his game. When you watch him on film, the one thing that really sticks out is how mobile he is. He possesses excellent lateral agility to get out on those reach blocks or when asked to pull down the line and kick out or lead out in the perimeter on screens. You can also see that mobility in space as he's climbing vertically up into the second level to get to the linebackers or the safeties and so on and so forth. He's a perfect fit. And when I say perfect, I mean ideal fit for our zone blocking concepts. Luke is built, like I said, at 6'2", 300 pounds, short and stout. which is great. He's got really strong legs, so he's able to utilize leverage very well. Good knee bend allows him to keep his pad level low and not give up ground to those bigger defensive linemen that he faces day in and day out. And probably the biggest part of Luke's game that really caught my eye was what a technician he is. All right. He's got high level awareness. He always plays with his head on a swivel, helping out wherever he can in pass sets. He never gets fooled on stunts or twisted, picks those up well. Again, really heady player. He's just really good footwork and excellent hand placement and body positioning so that he can always turn and wall off blockers and create those big running lanes. I really like Luke Wypler's game. Is there places where he can improve? Yeah. He can get a little stronger. His play strength can struggle at times. He struggles versus bull rush or power rush at times. He's only 300 pounds. That's relatively light to some of these defensive linemen or linebackers that he's seeing. He doesn't get a lot of drive at times on those man-on-man base blocks when the guy's head up on him. Again, his game is more leverage and agility and his ability to utilize and move his body in the way to help open up the run lanes as opposed to just sheer strength, brute strength to push people out of the way. The reality is that Luke Wypler also struggles against longer defenders. Why? Because he's got some short arms. He's got sub 32-inch arms and a very short wingspan. So those longer defenders can sometimes use their length and get up into his pads and cause Luke to lose that leverage that he utilizes so well to win at times. I think Luke Wypler has a lot going for him. Like I said, I think he's a guy that can come in and plug and play right away. He's going to be a 10-year starter in this league. At 21 years old, he's just a baby. He's still learning, still developing, right? Luke Wypler is a guy that I reckon, too, if I had to comp him in the NFL, think Garrett Bradbury from Minnesota. Another guy who moves very well in space, is a great in the zone blocking scheme, but, lacks the overall size and girth that you see along the offensive line somewhat. But Garrett Wilson wins with technique. Luke Wypler wins with technique. I think, with some time in the weight room, Luke Wypler is going to gain a little bit more mass and a little bit of that more functional play strength that's really going to take his game from above average to that next level. Luke Wypler is a perfect ideal fit in that second, third round, wherever we're picking in that area I think he'll go probably between picks 40 and 70. If we took an offensive tackle in the first round, or if we traded down or took defensive tackle and then filled our hole with Luke Wypler, I think sky's the limit, man. He's, like I told you, he's a perfect fit for what we want to do on the offensive system. And he's a guy that is going to be no nonsense. He's going to come in, he's going to do his job, and he'll probably do it for a very long time. Remember Luke Wypler when you're doing your mock drafts out there. All right? Until next time, guys. Let's go, Jets.